as the players get prepped and ready. Now, let me tell you a little story about a young boy who has a very, very small piece of my heart. He's a boy who I've grown up with. We've been through the hard times and the good. But you know what? He's the type of guy who I think that anyone could walk up to and call a brother. It's Chris Tunn, everybody. But first, here's another young man who insists on sprucing up the stream. Of course, he was here as a guest commentator, but we managed to ring him in for a lot more matches than I think he anticipated. I present to you the one, the only, Mr. Ollie Whitfield.
It's quite an introduction, really, isn't
Christ almighty.
Well, yes, it is going to be myself and Tony. We haven't casted in a long, long time, actually.
Yeah, it's a bit of a shame considering we are the dream team.
The dream team of casting. You know, we actually did Deserto Live way back in the day.
Oh, back in the day, only about 6 months ago.
The good old days. But yes, what a match we've got in this Turtle Beach Call of Duty Spring Championship. Now it's winner bracket round six, and as Mike said, it's Millenium against Epsilon, France against Ireland.
France against France.
Interesting, yeah, because the management, of course, the Epsilon organisation is, of course, a French-based organisation, but 3 of the players in the Epsilon lineup all originate from Ireland.
Yeah, obviously with the 2 teams together, not necessarily any rivalry, but then you look at the orgs, that each of these org owners will be like thinking, please win this game.
It's a big
please
one.
win this game. It is a huge game in terms of French organisations. So they really want both their teams to go on and do the business. Obviously, there's the Epsilon lineup, well, 3/4 of it anyway. We've got Lucky, Sowers, and McGee. Yeah, sorry. No, it's not McGee. Looks like Jade from the back.
Oh, it certainly does, actually. Yeah, that is McGee. But, yeah, I mean, interesting fact, really, about Lucky. Every single Black Ops 2 tournament he's entered, whether online or offline at LAN, he has come first in.
Yeah, he's been out of the scene for quite a while, actually. I teamed with him on Modifier 2 for a little while. It was me, Adam, Mark, and Lucky, I think. Something along that lines. And great player. He was always around the COD 4 days. And then he came back from Modifier 2 and then went to semi-professional, either pool or snooker. I can't quite remember. A little bit different.
Yeah, it's an interesting switch, really, in hobby, isn't it?
COD pool.
But, yeah, I mean, he's back now. He's obviously secured his place in LA in the Call of Duty World Championships, which is going to be extremely exciting, a massive opportunity for him and all the players that are going to be attending, really.
Yeah, it's going to be an absolute fantastic week there in LA next week. Well, sorry, this week, if anything. But, yeah, at this moment in time, we are actually at EGL here in Blackpool. I'm here with Rel. My name is Tony. We have the stream going to be starting off for you very, very soon. So I'm going to go ahead and ask you predictions.
And this is going to be really difficult, actually, because Millenium are, of course, a very well-recognized organization now. They have a massive fan base, and the players within it, most notably Gatarga, particularly has a massive fan base within his own right.
Humongous.
Exactly. And as an individual player, the individual achievements of each of those guys is huge. But on the other hand, Epsilon have been really proving their worth, not only at this tournament, but individually again at previous ones. Jerd, an up-and-coming star, actually, in competitive Call of Duty. You can see him closest to us there on the camera. Coming out of nowhere, really. G8 on GB, straight to third places at LANs, and, you know.
They turned up on an event, and they do all right, really. And then Jerd is the only one that seems to have come from that lineup that seems to be the guy standing out for the from the G8 lineup. And he's coming over, he's in a very good team. A lot of people consider him the MVP. Well, everyone considered him the MVP at the event, even the MVP that got voted, which was Gatarga. Obviously, that moment of clarity, so to speak, where he did hand over the MVP to Jerd, which, by the sounds of it, was fully deserved. So it'd be interesting to see what happens with these two taking on each other. Obviously, two possibly the best players in Europe. Every single one of these players, they're very well achieved. Minus Lucky, who's just coming into this now. But, you know, it's going to be a great matchup. I mean, we've seen Millenium on stage already, taking out Horizon, which for me was a little bit unexpected. I did think Horizon were going to walk away with that.
Well, yeah, I mean, Horizon, they are a strong team. I'm obviously part of Horizon myself, and I try not to talk about them too much. But Millennium just edged it. They were the stronger team. It was a very close hard point that they actually won to seal a deal, so to speak. But, yeah, they really proved themselves, Millennium. They do even have the separate stream at this event. So for any of you French viewers, they have got their own dedicated stream as well.
I think that's been streamed in all games on main stage, not even necessarily in the Millennium games, just all games that have been coming on main stage. So obviously that is very good a very good implementation, obviously, for the huge French community that does actually exist. And I think a lot of people in the UK are very unaware of it because not many French teams seem to actually come over. You do get the odd one every once in a while.
Yeah.
It's mainly paid organisations, that sort of thing, that do actually come over. It would be interesting to see if a lot of French players did actually, and teams came over, because I think I was telling this fact before. I can't remember who it was definitely not yourself. But what actually happened was there was a 32-team LAN held in France. I can't remember what it was held. I don't really know any details of it other than it was a Call of Duty Black Ops LAN, 32-team, and the tickets sold out in 15 minutes.
Wow. That's really impressive. I did not know that.
Very impressive.
Yeah, I mean, they do have a massive scene in France, and it's great to see, Frico Impact have travelled across the pond, and they've got a lot of the American supporters from their competitive community behind them. We've got the French ones now supporting Millennium in this tournament as well. And I suppose, like we've said before, this is arguably the strongest lineup in France. They're actually going to the COD World Championships as well in LA. Yep. So maybe this is a little bit of a warm-up. I mean, of course, Epsilon are actually featuring Sowers, who is going to be replaced for Bizzle in that massive tournament.
Excellence.
Sorry, Excellence. Bizzle is with Frico Dragons, my apologies. But yeah, I mean, Excellence, that's going to be a really nice pickup for them.
Yeah, I mean, no offense on Sowers, of course, but I would say Excellence is more of a pro player than himself. So I think Excellence will bolster this lineup, most definitely. So, we'll see what happens. I think they've got a very good chance of going quite far in the tournament, really, with the power that they showed last week, especially with Excellence, such a smart object player. For me, probably one of the best players in Europe, added to that lineup already. And, it creates a very, very strong competitive team. So we'll see what they can do. I would imagine they'll go quite far in the event.
Yeah, I mean, in terms of actual LAN wins and money that has been won throughout all these tournaments, Excellence is actually the highest achieving player in Europe. It was previously Gunchy, but the ESL victory for Epsilon actually made that big difference there. So, yeah, you can't really get better than that. And he has been, tipped to be the best player at this event as well. Prophecy have been struggling quite a lot, but apparently he's been making some pulling up some big numbers when it mattered.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I've been watching him. He's probably been Prophecy's best player so far. Of course, there's been, as said, Prophecy not playing as good as they could. For me, probably TCM are standing out at the moment. I mean, Impact obviously there as well. I mean, they made light work of Prophecy, but otherwise I think Impact haven't really, really turned up any trees, so to speak.
Yeah, well, I was speaking to Monksy just before I actually came on this main stage because they're about to go up against Frico Impact, Monksy being one of the TCM lineup, and he said he's not quite sure how he's going to beat them, but if it comes to it, he's just going to have to throw his controller at them.
Yeah, well, that might work.
Yeah, I'm not sure if that would be allowed at EGL.
I would very much bank on Killer, probably.
Yeah,
killing you.
I wouldn't advise it. But no, obviously just a little bit of banter. But what he's saying is Frico Impact an incredibly strong side. They obviously came off the back of an MLG win in Dallas fairly recently, actually. So they're looking to really stand out by securing a victory here at EGL, and therefore they will have won both the American biggest tournament and the European's biggest tournament.
Yeah, I mean, but what it does show is the fact that the skill gap is nowhere as bad as it was when we were watching 1 month for 3. When Optic came over the first time around, I mean, it wasn't even close.
No.
I mean, they really did just go in there and absolutely annihilate
pretty much.
I mean, I ain't going to hold back on this. They were 10 times as good as any of the other teams. I mean, they came in there and just absolutely wiped everybody out. But then, you see now them coming over, the American teams that just won MLG Dallas. You remember this, Farico coming over. First game, they lost 2 maps straight away. They only dropped 2 maps at MLG. So, I don't want to be too biased towards the EU team. I think any Americans are going to be like that. But it does this show? I mean, it could be to do with the jet lag, playing in a different atmosphere.
Yeah.
A couple of different maps, that sort of thing. Would that suggest the EU community is definitely pushing themselves up there? That obviously proven more of a challenge for Farico Impact than maybe MLG did.
Yeah, I mean, there has been significant improvements. I think in fairness to Farico Impact, that first game, you could argue it was the first one here, a bit of jet lag. One of the maps they hadn't really played. However, the match against Farico Dragons went to the final, the final round of Search and Destroy 5-5, and there's no denying. And what was great about it was Farico against Farico as well.
Yeah, arguably it wouldn't have gotten there because I mean, I don't know if you've seen what happened in the first map where Farico Impact were actually winning by quite a significant amount of points, and then AJ Amaze's Xbox from Farico Dragons did actually turn off, unfortunately.
Oh.
So what happened? They then got told they had to replay on the map, which by EGL and MLG rules, if the same had happened in MLG, the exact same rules would have been applied and they would have had to restart the map. So a lot of Americans were saying, oh, the EU have rigged this, the EU have rigged this. I'm sorry, guys, that is the rules, unfortunately.
Yeah.
In the end, they did win the series anyway, so, you know, it's not a big deal. But, yeah, but, you know, well, the Americans were complaining a little bit about that. But, you know, it's the rules, what's going to happen, MLG and EU. But, yeah, we're actually going to direct you to the Facebook page.
Yeah, be sure to check it out. There is a live poll on there, and you can actually vote for who you think is going to be winning this matchup and the tournament as a whole. We'd be really interested to see what your guys' thoughts are. Just type in EGL or European Gaming League in the search bar on Facebook, and you'll be sure to find that. And let us know your thoughts, guys.
Yeah, and well, as discussed, a lot of the Americans did think it was rigged, so to speak. But, you know, I mean, I don't know what I think. A deficit might have been a good idea, but it's hard to judge on hardpoint because it can go down to the last second.
Yeah.
To be fair, Farico Dragons were never out of that game. I mean, it was looking like Impact were going to win.
Yeah.
But at the same time, Dragons, you know, they could have brought it back. So.
And I suppose, really,
it's the only fair way to do it because
Impact won anyway. So there we go. So
yeah, I mean, it's very easy to say that, but you know, say if they lost, then they would have been very, very annoyed.
Of course.
Understandably. But at the same time, what can you really do about it? I mean, it's a hard one to call. I mean, the admins could have said, well, start for 30 points, and then it could have went down in the very last point where the Dragons could have argued saying, oh, well, we might have won if it was actually the game. We had score sweeps.
It works both ways, absolutely.
Yeah, no, exactly so.
But hopefully there's going to be no problems like that here on main stage anyway as Epsilon square up against Millenium. I'm just going to have a little bit of a peek around and see if these teams are ready to actually play.
I think they're just warming up now. If we can get an admin on the stage to try and get them to start the game ASAP, that would be absolutely great.